I'm going to tell you a story about how a hairdryer and Michael Jackson have made me who I am and what that means I can bring to DSM. So the year is 1984. I'm a young teenager living in Tehran, Iran, where I was born. Just to give you a context, at this time the country is going through a revolution. It's completely politically unstable. It was everything that we knew overnight had been changed. The way we're living, the individual choices, what to wear, what to listen to, what to read, everything was changed overnight. And of course, I'm a young teenager, a fan of music of the 80s. And we couldn't understand this change. We couldn't understand why all of these rights and freedoms were taken away from us. And so we were living our lives underground as if nothing had happened. But yet, we were still had an affinity for everything that was demonized, and everything that was westernized was demonized. There was civil war, there were explosions, there were bombings, there were food rations, there were sanctions. And so music being a part of a young girl's life. And remember, this is 1984. Many of you may not understand, but there was no internet back then. Prehistoric days of no internet. So we couldn't download music, we couldn't stream music. We had a choice to go to buy a tape from the store, cassette tape. Now you know my age. But that was also removed. So the only way to get music, your hands on music, was to either pay someone or beg someone to smuggle a tape for you into the country. And it took courage to do that. So the way this was done was that they would buy a tape for you somewhere, maybe in Turkey or Dubai, and they would take the casing off. And they would very delicately remove the ribbon out of the tape cassette. And they would put this, hide it in the back of a hairdryer, right here. And they would smuggle it into the country. And then once you get it, you would recase it in some kind of a generic Maxell case, and you would replicate it 1,000,000 times for all the kids in the neighborhood and all your friends. So, Thriller album was released in 1982, and it was the holy grail for us. I wanted to get my hands on this, and I was a lucky recipient of the ribbon. So I recased it. I worshiped this thing. I loved it, I adored it, I listened to it more than a healthy person should. And then I made a bunch of tapes. The first one for my best friend at that time, take it to school. And I wanted to give it to her, and I wanted to see the look on her face when she gets this amazing gift, precious gift. Except the worst thing that can happen happened that day. I had a body search by the moral police in school. We were young kids, and this tape got confiscated. And just to give you a perspective, this was a crime. This meant punishment, this meant imprisonment. People could disappear. This could have meant a lot of trouble for me or my family. So at that time, I was trying to explain that my family had nothing to do with this. I was remorseful, and I said, it's me, I'm the bad seed in the family. They know nothing about Michael Jackson, no. They pray every day, but not to Michael Jackson. And so I was blacklisted from school, and my father sent me into hiding. And he started making arrangements secretly, not even telling me how to get me out of the country. And it took a while. So finally, he was able to get me out of the country, make the arrangements, and ship me off to Switzerland and then England. And the only thing that I could leave with at that moment, as he shipped me off, this sheltered person who's never been without her parents, put me on a plane alone, and he said to me, wherever you go, the sky is blue. But it is your mindset you're taking with you. So make it a winning one. So with that, I started my 2-year journey. And I can tell you, at a very young age, I learned about adaptability, adversity, cultural differences, and trying to fit in. And I also learned that learning the language of the country doesn't mean you learn the culture. And learning the culture also doesn't mean that you fit in. In fact, in America, I learned that pop culture is king, which is very ironic because it's the king of pop himself that got me there in the first place. Anyhow, I prevailed, survived, learned about adversity through a lot of tears and struggles, which that brings me to my first days at DSM. So, when I joined DSM, I had been in discussions with Wilfred for 2 years. And he had told me about the challenges that we were facing in personal care in North America. He told me he wants someone to come and burn the house down and rebuild it. Also, for those of you that know Wilfred, you know it's do or die. So it's a high-risk situation for me. I had to come and either make it happen or my head would roll. Seems like the position was cursed. There were so many different leaderships in this position and not a whole lot of track record of success. We were losing money and the situation looked very gloomy for us. But what I found when I arrived in the position was far worse than I thought. People were angry, they were demoralized. They had a mindset that was used to the glory days when the business was easy. And now the landscape had changed and we needed fighters. We needed the people with a different attitude, and it wasn't it. So they just didn't belong in the context anymore. But the situation got worse. People started leaving the company quickly. So there were vacancies and vacancies and vacancies. People that I didn't know in the hallway in front of the elevators would stop me and they didn't know my name and they would say, "What the heck are you doing? What is happening in personal care? Why is everybody running away?" So I cringed. I have to tell you, I wondered if it was me actually. Said maybe I don't fit the context. I had questions. I remember at some point, at the peak of the crisis, there was really just 2 of us in the office. Myself and a brand new commercial manager, 6 months with the company. And I looked at her and I said, "We really don't look like personal care. We look like personal don't care." And so we laughed it off and we put one foot in front of the other one. And so I decided to act quickly. I went and fell back on what I had learned through my earlier experiences. For me, when you have a crisis, you have to move fast. You have to make quick decisions. You have to be agile and you have to improvise and adapt with everything that you have. You don't have a whole lot of time to assess the consequences or the potential of the consequences of the decisions you will make or how it would reflect on you. You just have to move quickly. So the first thing that I had to do was to address the remaining member of the team, the survivors. I sat them down very honestly and I said, "Okay, are you in? Are you out? If out, no problem, no hard feelings. I will even help you find a job, but I need commitment today, now. And know that you will have to do more than your share of the work. This by itself became a very good filter because it ended up giving me the people that had that thing for a challenge. They wanted to build something. So it was a natural filter. It was great. The second thing that I had to do was to fill the holes in the team as quickly as possible. But that became a bigger challenge than I thought. Because at that time, the DSM in North America had a horrible reputation as an employer. We had many people changing over. We had changes in leadership. We had a negative attitude. We looked like a very unstable environment for people to come and join. And I didn't want people that were simply applying for a job. I wanted to extract the people that fit within the DSM's DNA. What was even harder is to sell the people and entice the people to join the group by selling them this idea of a rose garden, because they really weren't coming into a rose garden. They were coming into a forest fire with me. And I needed them to understand that, and that was hard to entice them. So I had to be honest. And I told people that I'm looking for particular individuals. And those people, I needed to devise my own vision and develop my own plan and count and encourage them to use their own ambitions to join the group and make this happen. So today, as I stand in front of you, my 383rd day, I have broken the curse. We grew the business by 6%, created 69 new opportunities, signed 7 new collaborative agreements with key customers. For 2017, I have committed to a 23% growth on our most profitable product category. And I have to say, I am standing on shoulders of giants. I had a management that believed in me when I had a lot of doubts. I had an HR partner that walked through the fire with me. And I was able to create a team that trusted me and trusted one another. So if I have a humble offering, a takeaway from this, is I hope that you be yourself every day. Be flawed, make mistakes. The old ideas of leadership was that you have to look like a know-it-all. You have to show up and act like, yes, you have all the answers in the world. And I think that doesn't work anymore. People see right through you. You have to be yourself. You have to bring your whole self to work every day. And make mistakes, apologize, learn from it, and repeat. Leadership at the end of the day is a journey. And when in crisis, stay the course positively. Use whatever you have. Your adaptiveness, your background from your experiences, your humor, whatever gets you through. Stay the course, stay agile, and trust the small group of people that you have put together. You have to trust them. And most importantly, all that we do, all of this, GMF, learning and development opportunities, everything DSM is doing for us, is because they really want to extract the real person that is inside of us. The real person that has to come to work every day and face the team and face the business and the adversities and the VUCA environment that we have. And the point is, bring your whole person and not the persona that you think is expected of you. Be different, be inspired. We all have stories. Bring those stories with you. Let it be you, and let it guide your decisions. I hope you found this valuable. Thank you.